Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about the most important visa interview questions for F-1 class, and this is going to be like a rapid fire. So let's begin with it. So the questions differ depending upon various experience classes. So the questions might be different for someone going right after their 12th, they might be different for someone going right after their bachelor's, and might be different for someone going for PhD, going after some experience. So I'll cover those different sections, but I'll suggest you to go through all the sections. Although I'll put the timestamps, but I'll still suggest you to go through all the sections because I won't be covering those questions which are similar for both of them, because the questions which are there for someone going right after the bachelor's, there might be some intersections for the question for those people who are going after their after some experience, because some questions align, like what's your undergraduation, what's your CGPA. So I won't be covering, so I'll suggest you to please go through all the sections and not skip the sections. So let's get started with the questions now. So first I'll cover up the questions which can be asked to anyone of any experience class. So this is the general section. So I'll just begin with it. Which college are you going to? Where are you going? Why are you going to the US? Which course are you going for? Why this college? Why this course? Why business analytics or whatever your course is? Explain your course structure to me. Why this city, whatever the particular city you're going to? What all colleges did you apply to? How many admits or rejects do you have? How will this course help you? What is the scope of this course? Name some companies in this field. What subjects are you taking in the first semester? You have to know this. Please be prepared with this one. What are your future plans? Please don't mention about your stay in the US. Just don't. Do you intend to work or do part-time work in the US? No, you don't. You don't. Do you have any relatives in the US? Be truthful about it. They know it. Do you know about OPT? Do you intend to serve the OPT? No, you don't intend to serve the OPT. Why not a degree from India? Or this can be framed like why USA? Tell me about your source of funding. What does your sponsor do? What is his or her annual income? You have to know about what they do. You have to know very well about their business या फिर whatever their job is. अगर उनकी private job है, अगर उनकी government job है, just know about it in detail, because they might ask what department they're in, what do they work, and if they have a business, you have to know how many employees are under them, because that's a really frequently asked questions. If they have agricultural land, you have to know how many acres of land do they have, because I have heard them asking the same question while I was there for my F1 visa interview. Now moving on to the experience specific questions. My first section will be for immediate high school pass outs, but I will suggest you not to skip the parts. Again, I'll suggest you not to skip them because there might be some overlaps. So let's begin with it. So there are not a lot of questions that can be formed for this particular group because they don't have any experience as such. So there are very few questions that I have with me, and I'm just going to start with it. So what was your high school percentage or GPA? When did you complete your high school? If you have a drop year, they'll surely ask what you did during the drop year. You have to have a good reasoning for that. What electives will you take, and why not a bachelor's degree in India? These are the most important ones. There might be other questions as well, but in this video I'm covering the most important questions. So these were the most important for the bachelor's degree. Now I'll go ahead with the other experience group, which is the ones who have a bachelor's degree but don't have any experience. So let's start. So the most important question, according to me, the most important one is, what was your undergraduate project in? They had asked me about it as well. They ask everyone who is going right after their bachelor's about their undergraduate project. So नहीं किया है कोई project तो रट लो, झूठ बता दो, but remember something to tell, because they will ask it to you for sure. And other questions are, what was your role in that project? What did you bring to the table? What's the use of this project? Now, what was your bachelor's course and GPA? And now if your UG is not related to your PG, they'll surely ask you about why you're switching fields. And if it is aligned with your PG, they'll ask you how it is aligned. So be prepared with that as well. They might ask you about some courses in your bachelor's which can be aligned with your master's, reasons behind a drop year if you have one, so be prepared with that as well. Why master's immediately after your bachelor's? That's a good question that can be asked, and you have to have a good reasoning for that. Are you taking any specialization? So this is an important question. If you have a specialization, they'll ask you what your specialization is and why you took that specialization, so be prepared with that answer as well. Now I'll come to the questions for those who have some experience in the field, and there are many questions related from the people who are going right after the bachelor's, even for people who are going with experience. So कह रहा हूँ skip मत करो, please skip मत करो, फिर कहोगे कि मैंने बताया नहीं. तो the questions are: where are you working currently? What does that company do? Who are your company's clients? How much work X do you have? Tell me about your roles and responsibilities. Tell me about a project that you worked on. What does whatever your role is do? So you have to know about it. Do you work on any programming language? So if you say yes to this one, they'll surely they can ask you about anything about related to that programming language. Because so if you say I work on R, or if you say I work on Python, they might ask you like what is the difference between R and Python, when would you choose what. So be prepared a little bit with that as well. So next is, what software do you use? Do you like your job? Nobody does. What do you like the most about your job? झूठ बोल दो. Why do you not want to continue with your job? Why do you need to pursue masters? Why masters now? And if you already have a masters, which some people have, they'll ask you why do you want to go for another masters and how will that help you. So be prepared with that. They can ask you about if you're doing a career switch, so if you're doing a field switch, so be prepared with that. How will a masters help you grow? How will you return this company or not? So these are the most important questions for people with experience. There might be more questions, but I'm just covering the most important ones. So for a PhD candidate, just like the people who are going right after their bachelors are asked about the UG courses, you might be asked about your PG courses. So just like those questions with PG instead of UG, you can be asked about it. So be prepared for those. Apart from that, now I'll start with the other questions. What is your research in? About your thesis. Tell me about this field. How will this research be of help? What is its application? What will you be working on? What is your background? Will you have any teaching responsibility? Your master's major, your master's GPA, and if you have any gap year, then again they can ask you about the gap year. Be ready with the reasoning, because I think that's the most important question for a make or break, because if you mess up that answer, it's gone. It's literally gone. So be prepared with it very well. So that's all the questions I had in my bank. I tried to keep it as quick as possible to save as much as your time to prepare for your upcoming visa interview. And if these questions helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's the biggest motivator to make more of such videos and help me grow, because I've just started with it. So that's all the best. Thank you so much for watching the video. Bye bye.